Reverend Cotto Brown, um, free to report the way they wanted to. Yeah, once more.
What's up? How everything? You had to farm, man.
I just laying low, doing my work in the background.
I know.
Yeah,
How is everything now?
everything good.
How's the paper?
We're trying. It's a daily challenge every day, but we try to conquer the odds as we get it, and we move on.
At that point, sometimes where there's a publication and there follow us public reactions that sometimes gets you want to quit.
No, Clarence. I think, like I always say, this is a passion of mine. Um, this country went to war because there was no system of checks and balance. So people did what they wanted to do. There was no, the media was not free to report the way they wanted to report. And so it just a means of us giving back to the country by reporting on issues that would otherwise not be reported, on issues that seem controversial, but we still have to report it. And sometimes it is defeating, but you have to be firm. You have to come across sometimes as arrogant, and you have to come across sometimes as bold, as a don't care, because people will always try to put you down and make you feel like you're doing something wrong. But as long as you're on the right track, you fear no foe.
I see sometimes that people attempt to link the paper with any regime that is in power. They'll be like, oh, the guys are sell, or maybe sometimes they link it with the opposition. Oh, the paper now is so negative now about the government, and that's been repeating itself.
Yeah, honestly, Clarence, I think I want to make an appeal to the Council of Churches, maybe Reverend Cotto Brown. He can initiate something. We need a national week of healing,
National Week of Youth.
reconciliation, and an apology. We need to apologize to the family of William Talbot, the family of Samuel Doe, the family of Charles Taylor, because everything that we fought, or those who were in opposition fought against, are being repeated today. So we need some kind of reawakening of our country, because it seems like the more things change, the more they remain the same. I don't know what is a curse, something, maybe someone just hate Liberia for all the wrong reasons or whatever, but it seems that we can never get it right. This week I've been hearing a lot of attacks on Rep. Yeke Koluba. The same Yeke Koluba who was vocal in the days of the we administration. He was hailed, trumpeted as the voice of the people. Today he's an enemy of the state. He's in the system, in the House of Legislature, where people despise him. They call him names. And he say what you want to say about Yeke Koluba, but he's not changed. He's been who he is for a long time. The government may change, but he's still doing the same thing he was doing because he's not happy with what
Senator Dillon said that one time on Julius' show. He said, Julius, it is us who have changed. Yeke hasn't.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's sad that people will, would profess to change the system, and when they get to power, they deviate.
You sounding Rodney like there was no reason, there was no need for murdering Talbot, there was no need for the war, there was no need for killing Doe, because we're just in a cycle. Is that what you think?
There was no reason to kill Talbot. There was no reason to kill anyone for power in Liberia, because everyone who comes to power do exactly the same thing, even worse. And this is not the country that we should be, celebrating, because we're not learning from anything. And the reason you see we're always critical and always defiant and perhaps arrogant sometimes with our articles and stuff, it's because the world has changed, Clarence. If anything happened in this country tomorrow,
Yeah.
America not coming here because America busy with the Middle East. The European people not coming here. They're doing cuts. They're making cuts. Even the media have been affected because the Swedish government, who've been supporting some of our work, they're cutting down. So nobody's going to come to our aid if we don't put ourselves in order. And I think that's the sad reality of how we find ourselves. And I think the current administration, they're not doing themselves any good, and they're not helping the president. Because every time you try to go after people that you don't have to go after, you take away from the developments the government trying to do. If they bring in yellow machine, as controversial as there is a good news for the government. But if you're running after Yeka Koluba, it takes away from what the government is trying to do. If JFK is bringing in, I'm told they're bringing MRI machines now, they're doing different machines to help, to improve the condition of the hospital. If those things are happening and you're running after other people that you hate or you despise, it makes it very, very hard for anybody to take it seriously. And it takes away from the government's positivity. So it's just sad that...
Does that negate the fact, Rodney, that the law cannot go after people? For example, Yeke friends are after him because they say he made some comments that is deemed bringing the House to public disrepute that he cannot prove, and he's attempting to endanger the national security of the country with Guinea.
So, whatever Yeke is saying, did he say it in a way that it brought the government in disrepute? The situation in Guinea is something that's...
And we'll talk about the Guinean situation.
Yeah, it's something that's sad. And you have a military persona who's who he is. And I've heard people tell me from inside the government that he's hard to deal with.
You mean inside the Guinean government?
Inside this government.
Or inside the government? Okay.
That he's hard to deal with. And that's why they're very cautious about how they approach him, because sometimes he takes things personal. And so how do you handle this kind of delicate situation? One way, as the Reverend Kotu Brown said yesterday, is to maybe have former President Salif, President William get involved, some kind of way, go there and talk to him, But it's not about being proud, it's about the fragility of the West Africa sub-region. We cannot have people just going after, people they don't have to go after. So if you get rid of Yeka Koluba, you fail to realize the last protests during the William administration, it was going to be a flop. I don't know where you were there that day.
You mean the June 7?
Not the June, the one after June 7.
Okay.
It was going to be a flop until Yeka crowd came in the streets. So do you want Yeka Koluba and his people to be in the street protesting daily when your government doing positive things that it could be highlighting instead of focusing on Yeka Koluba? That's the basic component of public relations 101. You fail yourself when you focus on negativity. And that's what these people are doing. Like I said the last time, they're just going after too many people.
You think they're repeating some of the things of the past, some of the things they criticize?
Oh, yes.
Don't you think the government is leading differently?
They're doing some things in some areas that are good, but the emphasis on the hunting down of people is hurting the positive things that they are trying to do. And anyone who wants to do good for a country will not let anything negative interfere with whatever positive thing they're doing. You see what happening in America right now. There was something happening yesterday. There was the press secretary for Trump. There was a photograph that nobody paid attention to. That they want to raise alarm on, and now it's a big thing, So if you focus on negative things, you will get negative coverage. Focus on the positive things. And I think part of the reason why you see a lot of negative things going on, and it's not just with the opposition. in the government itself. Minister fighting deputy minister fighting assistant minister. They're fighting among themselves because when I show the president I'm doing my job or I'm better than this person. That's not how you run a government. That's not how you run a government. And they're all trying to showcase what they're doing in the wrong way.
Now, you have a lot of friends. You have a lot of contacts, and all over the place. What are you hearing about this whole Liberian border situation with Guinea? What's going on? What is your investigation telling you, Rodney? What are your sources telling you?
I spoke with someone yesterday who's in the region right now. They're trying to get someone from the Buckeye administration who's in the region right now, trying to get the MRE countries involved, maybe have a meeting of MRE nations to try to resolve this issue. At some point, I think we'll have to go to court, the regional court system, to help get involved. But as we speak, the border is still fragile. It's still tense. The Guineans, they seem on paper and in presence to be stronger than our side. So I think there's some, it's sad to say, but there's some fear on our side that we can't beat them if it goes to a fight, you know. So there's a lot of behind the scenes things taking place right now. I think the reason why the effort to get France involved is not really any result because Guinea is a military government and they have a strained relationship with France. So that's one of the reasons why you see is just the French maybe afraid to even, or maybe reluctant to even get involved because they know that this guy is, you know, unpredictable. So I don't know how far the Burqa representative in the region now is going to go with this quest for talks. But I know the way they're approaching it is like they're very cautious, in fact, overly cautious, because they don't want to offend Doumbouya or make him do something that he will, you know, he won't think of, just do it without thinking. So that's the issue they're facing right now. And I think a lot of times people forget that West Africa been through a lot. We've had a war in Liberia, a war in Sierra Leone, crisis in Guinea.
Exactly.
Ivory Coast who had issues. So any little, you know, thing that happens in one country can affect the whole West Africa region. So it's important that this thing is resolved in a very careful manner because just one slip, it could trigger something.
It could trigger something else. Now, what is this thing about the article about the French ambassador to Liberia that led to subsequent issuance of a press statement from the French embassy? Where did she, I played a portion of that audio yesterday, especially that particular portion. Where did she speak, and you know what new has the paper done?
The thing is, I don't see any issue with that thing because there was a program last week where she spoke, and it was carried by ELBC. They carried the program. It was carried live by them, and she said what she said, that she wasn't too privy with what the President Boakai and the French people spoke about, but she knew there was a talk. It's on audio. We didn't make it up. It's something that she said, and our reporters who were there to cover it. So I don't know, people. Maybe they got short memories. Nowadays, everybody has social media, so everybody want to pretend they're journalists. And they're not journalists. We are the ones on the field doing our work. So you cannot try to inject, because you hate Front Page Africa, you want to make us look bad. So you say, oh, they did something wrong against the French. That's not how it works. This ambassador said what she said, and the reporters who were there covered it. That's what it is.
The argument people raising is that, look, the people made it look like she was definite. But she spoke and she was like, well, it seemed they spoke. I do not know what they said, but I don't want to talk about it. It seems she wasn't clear according to others,
right.
But the people made it look like, okay, she confirmed that they spoke, but she said she didn't know what to talk.
She's a diplomat. She's not going to tell you everything that was discussed. The other day when there was an issue with President Boakai meeting with the representative from Trump in Guinea, we reported about it because people who were in the meeting told us about the meeting.
Representative of Trump?
both governments,
Okay.
in Washington and from the Liberian government, told us what happened in the meeting.
They met in Guinea.
Yeah, I think we did an article one time about
Okay.
something they were talking about the issue involving something that the Americans were not too keen about, So, but these things happen. We get the New York Times, the Washington Post. They get insider information that the public may not be privy to, and they report about it. That's what makes journalists journalists. So you cannot be trying to become a journalist when you're not. We the ones who on the field, our reporters are there doing the work, and we stand by what they say, what they report.
President Boakai has nominated a new chairperson of the National Elections Commission. Of course, Jonathan Widow is not very strange over there. I see people raise issues about his partisanship, campaigning for Boakai. At some point, other people creating the impression that, he served his tenure, he left. And what do you know about it, as far as your coverage of the NEC and maybe his issues are concerned?
There are a lot of issues with that appointment, and
You said there are a lot of issues with it.
issues. Besides him being close to the UP, there's also the concern that he served 2 terms already, and why are they bringing him back? So I've been doing some research over the last.
But I don't think there's any law that prevents him.
So I've been doing some research, and there's no law that prevents it from happening. It's not the law is not specific. It doesn't say because you served the first 2 terms you can. So that's not going to be. I don't think it will stop you from becoming next chair. Also, the issue of him being, what do you call it? I think there's also the issue that he's not, he may not be objective in the position because of his ties to UP. That depends on how the senators and the opposition handle this debate that's coming up in the hearings. But the fact that the opposition is dwindling in the Senate could make it very difficult for there to be any resistance to him. Right now, there's only about 6.
That's where I was coming. How do you think the Senate will handle this one, considering the numbers?
I spoke with one of the senators yesterday, a very influential senator. He said there's not much they can do because there's no 6 of them that could be against this appointment, because most of them have joined the Unity Party government. So it's going to be very difficult to reject this appointment, but it's up to the opposition to see how they push this, the envelope on this issue, to demand questions and answers from the current government as to what were they thinking of putting someone who's very close to their party in such a position. Also, I'm not sure, it's difficult as it seems, right? But I'm not sure whether, because the way elections are done nowadays in Liberia, with the putting the ballots on the wall after each election, even if someone want to cheat, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Don't you think there are some Unity Party senators or some senators from alliance parties that want to stand up for the right thing, ask the hard questions, seeking to know the truth?
Even if they ask the right questions, if the number's not there, there's not much they can do.
It's going to end up with voting.
Yeah, it's not much they can do. So if you have 6 right now that may be definitely against it, the other ones will vote for it, and because Liberty Party is with the UP and their lawmakers will go with the Unity Party. So it's going to be very difficult to reject that appointment unless there's a pressure from the public.
Pressure from the public.
Yeah.
Sometimes the public pressures don't play a lot in these things.
Yeah.
Now, the last Joshua regime, we had a lot of conversations here. And like I said, when you appeared the other time, some of the things you said actually came to show itself. They were real, like, well, people were deceiving Joshua. He wasn't getting the right information. They were telling him what they wanted to tell him. He didn't want to know what the facts were. And do you still see it permeating today?
Oh, it happens all the time. I think it may be even worse now.
You think it's worse now?
Yeah. And my observation is that, like I said, it's taken away from the positive things that are happening. Like you take every 2 steps you take, they take 1 step back. These different efforts to show the president I'm doing my job, it interferes with the positive thing the government is trying to do. And that's the very, very difficult position for anybody to be in. I don't know how the president will handle it or how he's handling it, but he needs to just put his foot down. You know, it's a difficult dilemma and it's been happening repeatedly from government to government. The act of sycophancy, the act of people just trying to show that they're loyal to the president and doing things to get his attention. That's what's killing the government.
You think the House should just drop any attempt to whether suspend or remove Yeke?
I don't know how they achieve anything with that. I don't know how they achieve it because he's an elected official. His district, his people elected him. Why would people in the legislature get together and say we don't want him? You didn't put him there. So how does it benefit the legislature if they get rid of him? I don't see it. So they will just create more problems. And do you want a Yeke Koluba outside the branches of government doing Yeke Koluba things, calling for protests, putting people in the street?
Well, he's covered at the moment because he's a member of the legislature. He might not have those kinds of amenities in the event he wasn't a member of the legislature.
Yes, but he's still a force. Yeke Koluba is a force. If it wasn't for Yeke Koluba, some of the things that were happening to make UP what it is today would have happened. So do you want that same Yeke Koluba who brought you the power, who helped bring you the power, out there alone with his people in the streets every day protesting? I don't think you want that. It doesn't benefit the UP to get rid of Yeke Koluba. So it's something that they have to really think about. They have the power, they can do it if they want to, but how does it benefit them in the long term? How does it benefit them going after people, everybody, going after everybody, and then when 2028 comes, you say you want to be friends with people? How does that work? If you didn't help me or you weren't there with me the last 5 years, election coming, you want to be my friend? It doesn't work that way. So they have to really rethink how they approach this whole we against them thing. It's not, and when CDC was doing it, it was, it got to people were very pissed off with it, CDC, But it seems that they haven't learned anything from CDC, from the last UP. It's just too much negativity, too much fighting. The anger is too much. They're behaving like they're opposition when they should be doing the things that, and they are doing some things, but those things are being eclipsed by the negative stuff they keep pushing.
Yesterday, former Representative Akaros Gray was on this radio, and among other things, he confirmed, because I was concerned about the conspicuous silence of President George Weah, former president, if you will. Akaros said to me, Clarence, George Weah will be on the ballot 2029. He's coming back. He will contest. Rodney, do you think Weah could make a comeback? If that was it, will his election be based on what the Unity Party is doing now, or he's got a set vote, because President Boakai won with a little over 18,000 thereabout votes. That's not too sufficient to rely on. Do you think there could be slight changes? Do you see alignment and realignment at the end of the day?
The possibility of former President George Weah coming back to power depends on George Weah himself.
It depends on George Weah himself.
Yeah. How is he coming back? Is he coming back with renewed vigor, with changes to the way he led the first time? Is he going to embrace the people that he cast away the last few years? That'll be the test for him, because mind you, the likes of Sir Joseph gone,
Thomas
Fala gone. So there's a lot of breakaway from the CDC that were there before. And as you know, Liberian politics is so predictable. Once the government is in power, those who were loyal to the past government joins the new government. And it's very difficult to wrestle them away from the current government they're in to say, come back to me. It's going to be very tough. So
Are there not possibilities that Sir Joseph and Thomas Fala could retreat, go back on base?
that's why I say it depends on how former President Weah wants to come back. He could swallow the pride and call on the likes of Sir Joseph, say, look, we have our differences, let's back and be back, and call Thomas Fala and say, look, let's, that could be some way.
Are they even willing to go back?
That's what I'm saying. He has to show some concessions, and they have to show concessions. They have to be willing. But the difficult thing for him will be the Lofa issue. Those people are too staunch Lofa.
They are two Gisi people.
So
I mean, without being tribalistic, that's the fact.
And the fact that the Boycott government is in power, getting them away from that will be tough. And so he has to reinvent himself. He has to show the public that he's not the same George Weah from the last term.
Okay. No, look, there is an impression in the public sometimes that, look, the Liberian people are tired with the Unity Party and the CDC thing. And they both parties have led the country, and at some point people think, well, they haven't been able to deliver basic things. I mean, they've not done us any good. We need to get rid of them. Who is the third person, Rodney, amongst these opposition political parties who's availing him or herself as an alternative rather than the Unity Party and the CDC? What do you think?
The problem with Liberia is this this follow the soldier mentality
Follow the soldier.
is what killing Liberia. Imagine, it's a scenario I'm putting out there. If Senator Darius Dillon had kept his cool, kept his status, the following he had because of the opposition, by now, who you think we'll be talking about? Darius Dillon. But I think because he went too far to one side, it makes it difficult for him to be presented as some alternative. So it's going to be very tough, very difficult. And Liberia is a country that lacks brand name. They used to boycott, they used to wear. So those are the two people that they're dealing with right now. So
You think one of them will come back again or remain?
it's possible.
What's about Cummins? What's about, the likes of Belity? What's about Tewa Gonglo? There are still others around.
Yeah, but you don't understand Liberian people. It's very difficult for them to give, if you're not part of that clique, that popularity clique, it's very difficult to break in. It would take a lot of whoever is supposed to be the third alternative or the third option, looking for the second or first option, has to really redefine the dynamics of the political play. If it's Cummins, he has to change everything about the last two election run. If it's Sir Joseph, he has to be able to reach out across line and show that he's capable. Whoever it is, they have to be really, really put themselves in a position to convince Liberians that this is someone that is ready to take over from these two parties. But as long as that popularity, that tribalism thing going, it's going to be difficult.
Cummins have had a lot of very brilliant messages. I mean, the intent, the way he says what exactly he wants to do for the country. Why do you think the majority of the people seem not to want to accept him?
Like I said, Liberians are like that. They're used to the popularity.
Popular people.
They're used to the fact that it's a tribal thing, the Lofa, the Southeast. Those are people who have the blocks to vote. And for a third person to come in, it'd be tough. Madam Salif was lucky because she had JMB as a running mate, so she got the Lofa, and she was also some of the international people were keen to see. So she got, the support. But now it's very difficult because we put ourselves in a position where it is leaning toward a two-party system, and the brand. Look at what happened in Nema County with Prince Johnson gone. They've been fighting for who will take over from Prince Johnson. That's the problem with Liberia, and they have this weird boycotting going, and it's not 100% guaranteed that we will come back, and it's not 100% guaranteed that UP will come back. If UP do the right thing, they can beat landslide. But I just think they have too much negativity going on. They're fighting too many people. They're going after too many people, vendettas against people. This whole thing about if you're not in the party, they will go after you. I'm told from some sources in the government that they've been fighting the justice minister. They won't get rid of him.
I've heard that too, many times.
They won't get rid of him. So, I mean, because you're not die-hard partisan, you want to get rid of him? What does it say about you, about your party, about what your identification? Everybody cannot be in your corner. Clarence, imagine we have a country, right, where everybody just follow one person. It's boring. It's boring. And then
that's how our politics has always been, and that is the level to which the politics is running, to the extent that people who serve tenure positions during elections, the president, the government, the party force them to some extent to wear the t-shirts, even if they didn't want to do so. There is a way they would do it,
And this government, when it came to power, they got rid of people who did the same, who were wearing partisan t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're doing the same thing.
Exactly.
So it's okay when you do it, but when somebody else do it, then it's not okay.
Do you think Boakai will run for his seat in 2029? Do you see him, raising up the hands of a young person, probably maybe a vice president or somebody from the party to say, I got a mom and grandchildren. I own her.
Boakai is on a ticket. He's running.
Is that what you're hearing?
Boakai is running.
You think so, Rodney?
Boakai will run.
But he's creating uncertainty around the whole thing. He hasn't spoken to anybody about anything. He's just quiet about that. I'm told even in his kitchen cabinet, people have been attempting to pick him mouth, and he's just quiet.
President Boakai was vice president of Madam Sally for 8 years. Over 12
years.
12 years, right? And she was the same way. She never told anybody anything. She never prepared anybody to succeed her. In fact, she said one time, JMB and I were walking the sunset together. So when she left, there was nobody to replace. She had nobody to pick up the pieces. And Boakai would be the same way. He'd be dragging until 2027, 2028. So I'm running. He's going to run.
You think so?
Boakai will run. Boakai will run. And all the things you see, even in Boakai's running, Sir Joseph will go behind. Tom Father going behind him. You see what I'm saying? So all the opposition you see, most of them will just splinter and go to one side, or two. They will just start splitting among themselves. But he's running.
I was predicting that next year, maybe the end of the year or some part of next year, you will see an exodus of people to the Unity Party, especially sitting representatives and senators who want to get re-elected. Do you think so too?
It happens all the time. It happens all the time. Remember when was it Boakai first time when you were running after Madam Sally?
2017.
All the senators and lawmakers supported.
Yeah.
Remember? Majority of them.
That group was headed by Henry Yala and other people.
All of them.
Yeah.
So that's how Liberia is.
And less of, there were a few people who were on George Weah's side. And in fact, at that time I was still in Bong, but I had to come to Moreville to cover that. At that program, it was generally thought that the elections was over. Boakai would have been the next president because, I think there were 23 senators. I still remember. There were 23 senators who endorsed Boakai. Everybody thought it was over, not knowing the elections would have ended the way it did.
Yeah, it's so disheartening that, it's so easy for UP to win a second term.
Do you have the feeling that,
it's so, I'm saying this.
You say it's so easy.
It's so easy for them to win a second term. And not just win a second term, but landslide. Just do the right thing for the people.
The right thing to mean what?
Stop hunting people. Stop the negativity. You're creating too much animosity in the country, and people just there's this anger people have against them because the way they carry themselves. They need to change.
You think people are angry?
People are angry. It's because the way they're sidelining everybody. So what did Justin Minister do to you? What did he do to you? You give him money to prosecute anybody? Most of the government ministry agencies, their budget, Clarence, for payroll.
It's always been.
Most of them for payroll. Nothing else for anything else. So who are you going to prosecute? Well, money. But yet, there's people in the UP won't get rid of him. Because he's not part of the clique. He's not part of the party.
They want their own justice minister.
They want their own justice minister. They want their own next person. They want their own finance. They want everybody to be under their wing. Because they want to control the narrative.
Is that surprising to you?
You're not surprised. It happens all the time. But at least, I think Madam Salif, she tried to bring other people in. But since she left, I'm sorry, but it's just been one-sided.
Do you know whether Madam Salif and President Boakai are going along now?
I think they are to some extent. I think they're not as bitter like before. I think they actually happened to win. She happened to give her some money in the second round to win. So, but still, there are partisans in the UP who don't like her. And it will always be that way. Because there was the boycott faction, there was the Ellen faction. It was clear when she was leaving that there was the two factions.
And I'm told reliably that there is still a Luther Tappe faction in the party and an Army Modas faction. That's what I'm told. Up to now, even though Moda is not on the stage anymore, but I am reliably informed that there is still an Army Moda faction in the Unity Party.
You know, and that's what's hurting the UP. You have people who are not president, Boakai, who can call an agency director and say, look, do this to this person, do that to that person. It's happening. I've heard cases where people in lower levels of government, director for agency or whatever, will call somebody and say, you have to prosecute this person. You have to do this to this person. How do you govern that way?
Okay, Rodney C. is here, the publisher of Front Page Africa newspaper. He's our guest this morning. He says, well, the Unity Party could have an advantage to beat the CDC heads down, even probably first round, but they are chasing people. They're not focusing. Rodney thinks the government is doing some good things, but as far as public relations or communication is concerned, they're not talking about the good things they're doing. They're busy chasing people and doing things they got no business doing, and is undermining their efforts for governance. Good morning. 0777 700 995 555 026 995 is the international number. WhatsApp, you can call LWSC Managing Director Mo Ali. We take him. Mo, let's hear you.
Thank you, Clarence, and good morning to my friend. The name I think I can get some rocky relationship. Rodney, this is Mo Ali. I've been following a whole lot. I agree with plenty of things that Rodney said, and I also disagree with some of the things that he said. So let's start off with Nick.
Mame Wabi, you running?
No, I'm not running. I'm not running. Then you put your hand there.
No, I'm not talking about elections. You sounding that you're jogging, you exercising.
No.
Okay.
I just came from the pipe side.
All right,
so
man.
on the net issue, we've had a base of partisans serving in net positions before, right? So I remember when Jerome Kokoya was appointed. Jerome Kokoya had contested on the UP ticket, I think in Bon County. The CDC had issue with it. And so Madam Salif asked the CDC to nominate someone, to recommend someone. And that was how the CDC recommended the chair that just resigned, Director Brown Lassana. You also look at the history of Tafla Reeves. Tapla Reeves contested on the CDC ticket.
Her,
and
ni-
Rivers
her,
says
her
that
name
it
is
was-
actually Tipla. Tipla.
Oh, Tipla
Yeah,
Reeves.
Tapla is like a man's name. Her name is Tipla. It's a Basa name.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Tipla Reeves contested on the CDC ticket. I think it was in 2011 or one of these elections.
2014.
In Rivers says
I think it's 2014. Yeah.
But I believe that what the law says, before joining the NEC at that level, you must not be a member of any political party. And like Rodney said, I don't think anybody will get the numbers at NEC headquarters. They say go announce it, and then you go and call different numbers. I don't think that will happen. Now let's come to the UP. Rodney, I think you got some information right, but you got many wrong. The Justice Minister, for example, he said people running behind the Justice Minister. Look, some of us are half-cooked in the UP. And there are some people who say, oh, the Justice Ministry should be prosecuting this. And we say, let's give them the chance to investigate, gather evidence, and do what they know best. The thing about UP people running behind the Justice Minister because he's not a UP person, I don't think that information is true as far as I know in the Unity Party.
Why are some of the
Now,
things Ronnie said that's true? You said you agree with some.
there are some things, that generally we focus on.
You're fighting in your
believe
party.
And many other. No, Clarence, let me say this, right? In party, like on national scene, everybody will not agree.
But more you
on the same thing all of the time.
you are definite on the ones the man said that you believe not true. The ones the man said that you think is true, be definite to now. Let hear you. What one the man said that true?
So for example, there are some things that we focus our attention on.
Okay.
I believe we should not be focusing our attention on. So
Okay.
for example, somebody goes and does the one and we all focus on it and talking about it and this and that. I don't think it gives a good publicity. Like Rodney said, which I agree with. And
Thank
which
you, Mo.
I do. Focus more on the things that we are doing.
My man, please go face our puebla. Please
No,
go
I'm
face our
working
puebla.
on it already. By the way, Rodney, we need to find time to meet.
Okay.
I didn't know you were in your country. Have a nice day.
Okay, all right. Good morning, yeah.
Good morning, Sergeant Karen Jackson.
Good morning.
And let me say good morning to Be Better Radio Institute. This is activist McLean Render, and I do Jody from Luther office in West Point. We are very united for justice and accountability. Let me say something to Be Better Radio, although I haven't denied accountable access to meet Better Radio to ask me some questions as it relates to
Who deny you? Who deny you? Who deny you? All right, you want to see the man? Come to me. I will tell you to the man. I will hold your hand and carry you to the man. Don't worry. The man is accessible.
I want to respond to those please.
Go ahead.
However, let me go for the issue quickly. There will always be party struggle or party tussle in our political party. But to the extent that some members in the United Party feel superior or educated or educated more than the fight in the party, that will bring a clash in the United Party. However, quickly, let me conclude on the NC election. For me, at no point in time you will say to me that a individual will be born and say, I won't participate in a political society. I will be neutral because one day I will have the opportunity to serve at the NC.
Okay, thank you. Randall, you've said a lot. Hello.
Clarence, good morning.
Good morning. Rodney, you have awakened the Unity Party base. Yeah, sir.
Well, so good morning, Clarence, and let me say good morning to Rodney. My name is Amos Toer. Yes, definitely, I'm going to call my name.
Okay.
Amos Toer, and I'm calling from Monrovia.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to follow a little bit the path that my friend, my comrade Mo Ali, followed. But first, let me indicate to Ronnie. We in the Unity Party are always very much open to listening to the views and opinions of stakeholders in the country, including leaders of the journalism community, one of whom is running in studio. So
You sure of that?
I'm very certain. I'm speaking to you as an authority of the Unity Party.
Okay.
So what I'm indicating to you is the opinion, is the view, is the policy position of the Unity Party, that we appreciate criticisms, we appreciate feedbacks in the governance of the state. These things help us a whole lot because we are human beings, and we're prone to fox parks, okay? But the two things, the first thing that Mo Ali talk about is the Minister of Justice. First and foremost, it's important to indicate here that the Minister of Justice is not the only non-partisan of the Unity Party in government. There are a whole lot of them. I can tell you that this government,
Hello, Amos.
of people in government are not necessarily partisans of the Unity Party. But yet, it's because of the policies, the position, the policy statement or position of the Unity Party that there should be a government of inclusion. That's why it's important to continue to entertain and allow the participation of Liberians in the governance and development of the state. The president is very much committed to that.
Okay.
So we of course, as a result of our approbation, these people got appointed. And I just want to say to you that there is no attempt, no plan whatsoever by the Unity Party to target any individual because they are not member of the UP.
Thank
no.
you, Amos.
Everybody who appointed by the president, they're going to continue to serve at the whims and caprices of the president, at the terms of the president, not the terms of any other individual for that matter. I just want to indicate
Thank you.
here, and the Minister of Justice and us, we've got a very positive relationship.
Thank you,
I can
Mr.
confirm that
Secretary
publicly.
General.
It's important to state that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hear you, Mr. Secretary General. We are here. We hear you. Hello, foreign call. Hello.
Good morning, Pizzo. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
I want to use this medium to greet my political mentor, Councilor Tiamo Gonglo, and also.
Where are you
to say
calling
hats
from,
up
and
to
what's your
your
name?
I want to say hats up to your studio guests. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm saying, where are you calling from? What's your name?
This is Ambassador Medic Papadi. I'm calling from the United States.
Okay, let's hear you now, Papa D.
Okay. I do think that the government is using distraction tactics because they know the actual meanings, the actual invasions that happen in the Liberian border, but they want to distract us. Following Yeka Koluba yesterday, they were clapping for him, but why is it today they are chasing him? And I do think that Yeka Koluba should be careful because the CDC will not spare him. Any attempt for him to be expelled, they might use Jefferson Koji against him.
To run in our district.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. You say yours. Wow. We, as a Rodney has awakened the UP base. Hello.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
My name is Robert Ernest D.W. Wilson Sr., and I call from Monrovia. Let me say good
Man,
morning.
you gotta put all that DW Wilson and the Sion all
on
out.
my name.
Let hear you.
On my name, come on my name.
Let hear
So, let me say good morning to Rodney D.C., my friend and my brother, my big brother, who have championed my cause over the years. Though I slip a little bit, let me probably apologize to him, but we'll get on code. I'm a big brother there.
Mhm.
We'll fix our problem. But let me assure him that the Unity Party government is a respected government. The government will respect the rights of everyone, including the media. We'll continue to champion that cause because Ambassador Joseph Imabwaka, who is the president, is open to media engagement. So let me say that a lot of people in the UP government over the years, even in 12 years, there were more opposition than UP partisans. Today, there are plenty opposition in our government, including other people from all walks of life. Unity Party is the only party that have committed themselves to the alliance.
Okay.
To say you supported us and you will make it to benefit. Nobody has supported the UP.
Even though Akko been crying a lot.
I say every party that supported UP is today enjoying the government. Whether the Labour Party, whether the ACO, whether anybody that supported us.
But I say Akko been crying. But Robert, okay.
Crying for what?
Thank you. It's okay. But you hear Akko say they're not being treated rightly.
ACO not crying. ACO get ACO chair is management, disaster management, and other places.
Thank you.
Post and
Thank you.
telecom, the ACO.
With all that, they were still crying. Hello, the other line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Clarence.
Yeah?
My name is Jala Dakman. I call from Kingsville.
Okay, Dakbana, let's hear you.
Yeah, Clarence, I listened to the show and I got a problem with you.
Okay.
And the problem I have with you is that when I heard Amos 12 speak, at the close of it, you told you, yeah, we hear you, Amos, we hear you, Amos. That implies that you are in your mind what he's saying is not true. And I
No,
will bring
you,
after you.
bossman, you can't easy so to interpret for me now that way. I normally
No, but
I life listen, man, I don't get so seriously serious all through. I laugh sometimes when I feel it's good to laugh. I ask people, I laugh with them. When I say Amos, we hear you. We listen to him and I laugh with it. In me, I say what he's saying, not true. That's how I do. I don't get too serious with everything, brother.
I wish you were to be serious with everything because when you speak like that, for me, in my mind, is that you are telling the man, even though what you're saying, I heard you, but I don't believe it. We hear you, Amos, we hear you. That's how we interpret it.
Okay.
But thank you for being who you are. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You know, sometimes I put fun. I can't be serious. Even those other book say they
All
didn't
right.
let her again
So
laugh.
come
No,
2029,
Chief,
they will feel the
Chief.
trust.
No, Chief, you were not on. You on now. I apologize. You were not on. What's your name? Bossman, what's your name? Where you calling from? You were, all I think you are talking, you are not on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you on now. Just call your name. Sorry.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
I want to remain anonymous. For security.
All right, let me respect that. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, I thank you. I want to appreciate our senior brother in the studio, Rodney here. For the reality is that all of what he said not too long with the conversation you had with him, it is actually in line. And looking at the Unity Party, JMB, the reality is that JMB is doing well. But all of their appointees, they only care for themselves. All of the campaign promises that we carry on, most especially when it comes in the land of where we the civil servants were A3.
Oh no, I'll yeah, the guy will have to conclude. Yeah, I can't take anybody. He will have to. Yes.
Harmonize. We will harmonize your
You
vote.
harmonize our salary, will harmonize your
Harmonize
vote.
your vote. All right. Majority of them, since they got appointed, they don't even care. They only care for themselves and their girlfriends.
No,
Down
sir,
to the Amos 12,
let be respectful to people now.
All right.
You know, yeah, let be respectful. Thank you.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
But the reality is they only care for themselves. They only
Okay, thank you. Let's leave it like that. I would like us to be respectful. We can disagree, but let's be safe. Let's be respectful. Final call. Hello, yeah. Are you there? Hello. Oh, I would. You call. Let's take him. He called finally. Let's just take him. Then we conclude. Go back to Rodney. We'll go back to Rodney. See. Okay. If we can get Rodney Janje Bakwe, I'm trying to call you because I mistakenly, took you off the line. Rodney, you listen to the callers. Some of them agree, but the Unity Party people agree, and they actually disagree with some. Especially the Israel Minister of Justice. The man said, no, we're not running behind the man.
No. There's some people there after him, and I hope.
Let me just take Janje Bakwe. He's back. Janje.
Hello, Clarence.
Yeah, let me just give you 30 seconds, man, out of courtesy because you've been calling.
Yeah, thank you, Clarence. And let me say good morning to Rodney here. This is Janje Bakwe.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah, Rodney, I think you spoke on a lot of issues, and I believe that those things you spoke on, most of it has some facts and truism in it. You did that before. But again, with the combination, with the composition of the current Unity Party leadership, I hear most of the officials saying, oh, in fact, they have opposition in their government. Who you have in your government is those who support it, those who disagree with you don't have in your government. Now, if you look at the CDC-led government, the Justice Minister was never a seditious, never associated with CDC. In fact, he ran before. But yet we saw professionalism in him, and we brought him to 77 and if you go to FPRC, Madam Mayor wasn't a seditious, she never supported Joshua. But Joshua brought her to serve because she's a Liberian. Today, the United Party believe that if you never wore their green shirt, you can never associate or work with them. That's a difference from the CDC. And that's a fact. Look at the historical evidence I just provided. So again, thank you so much.
But downside, I remember was an opposition present. against. He did not support the Unity Party. I don't have any records on that. Dansai is currently hailing Lacra.
Let me say this about Dansai. You see, if you speak about Dansai,
I just wanted to call his name because you're making it look like no other president that did not support. But the justice minister, we don't have any evidence that he was even political president. We don't have any evidence that he was campaigning for anybody yet. But he's in the
if you
government.
do your investigation, the reason they want him out because they believe that LP was the one that recommended him. I'm saying this to you because I'm on the political field. I follow all of this information.
Okay, John, thank you, Rodney. Let's conclude with you.
Yeah, I'm glad that the discussion is getting the reaction it's getting because some of these things in the fine guise of the discussion in the different chat room and stuff, and people come to me with information every day.
Yeah.
So we have to just decipher them. But the thing, the justice minister thing is some truth to it. There's some people who don't want him in the government because he's not part of the UP. The thing about the Clara is that I think people need to, like I said earlier, there needs to be a national day, a national week.
Even the Minister of Foreign Affairs contested against the president. Today, she's a dame of the cabinet.
And she's still going after her, sometimes go after her too. A lot of times go after her too. So there's some tension going on in different places in the government. But what I'm saying is that there needs to be some kind of national healing, national reconciliation, a national apology to the past leaders that we let down. Talbot was on an upward trajectory when he was killed, overthrown. Doe came and said Talbot was a bad person. He was corrupt and stuff. He did the same thing, worse than what Talbot was doing. Charles Taylor came, same thing, got rid of him. Madam Sadie came, the same thing. Now we have Weah came, the same thing. So it's like this recurring cycle. When will it stop? We need to find a way to address the bread and butter issues of Liberia. Water, electricity, roads. These are things that people see with their eyes. If the UP government can focus on those issues and forget all the other negative stuff, they will be fine. But if they don't, as bad as the Weah government was, people say it was, they could come back. But you can't wait until the last minute time you say you're going to embrace people. Now is the time to embrace everybody. Because you didn't win the election landslide, you won the election by the narrow margin. That means nearly half of the country don't like you. And if you govern like half of the country is on your side, you're badly mistaken. And so they have to really start rethinking how they govern in this country.
Okay, Rodney, thank you so much. Front Page Africa's publisher, Rodney C. We'll have more of these conversations. The next time, Rodney Kanye.
I'm on. All right, folks. Yes, and good evening to all of you across the world. Thanks for joining us. This is Spoon TV. I'm Nelson Pole, and I'm here with the rest of the team. We are live here with an exclusive interview with Mr. Abednego Kofa, who happens to be the spokesperson of the Jackson family. We're here to briefly have a conversation with him around the situation today, the family's position on everything that transpired today. So, Mr. Jackson, welcome to Spoon TV. How are you? You want to firstly just give us your perspective or the family's perspective on the food today.
Well, so first I want to say thank you to the Spoon Network for affording the opportunity to say something in regards to Tony's death and Mr. Jackson's or David died. It was on the 12th of March that the former Tony had fallen. He was rushed to Cali Hospital. But prior to that, on Monday, the 9th of March, I was told that Tony had fallen down on me. fortunately she was the last one along with some domestic staff.
On the 9th of March.
On the 9th of March, while she was using the bathroom, she went into seizure, and she got revived by Jackson and the staff. And right? So the 12th of March, he had left home to attend to a radio talk show at OKFM. And then upon his return, he met her in a pool of blood.
Okay.
But while he was on his way, because he left home around 8:20 in the morning, according to him, he left home around 8:20. And he told me, like, look, Tony and I went to bed very late. He said they went to bed very late. He went to bed around 3 because he had a radio show for 8 o'clock, maybe for 9 o'clock. And she went to bed she came to bed around 4. And then he left her sleeping around 8:20, kissed her, and left us to attend to the radio show.
Okay.
So while he's there, at the end of the show, because one of our cousins was getting married, so he called her to let her know that, to let her get ready.
Okay.
And then Tony didn't answer the phone, so he asked the cook. He asked the cook to go in and let his boss lady know that she needed to get ready and he was on his way. The cook went in, knocked at the door, and there was no response. So he went back and called him and said, boss lady didn't answer. He said, okay, just leave her, I'm on my way already. So he got home around 10:20, and when he entered the room, he met Tony in a pool of blood at the foot of the bed, en route to the bathroom. Because where she was lying down, it tell you that somebody was going to the bathroom, right? Yeah. So that's where she was lying down. And then he immediately screamed, and some of the staffers came in and helped. We moved her to Cali Hospital. So while she's at Cali Hospital, I got a call from one of my friends who told me that, oh, your uncle's wife is in a serious situation, so you need to come. I was at the gym. So I immediately drove there around 11:25, I got there. In the moment I got there, he was panicking, he was in stress, he was crying, he wouldn't give chance. So I pulled him away and I took charge of the situation, worked with the doctors, worked with the nurses, and ran her through all her tests. And finally, we took her to the, after they did all the tests, while we were waiting for the result, the guys they said, look, we need to do a CT scan. So I helped them put her on from the bed and put her on the stretcher and move her to the CT scan room. And we stayed there. After the CT scan, we brought her back into the emergency trauma section at Cali Hospital. And she stayed at Cali for 6-7 hours, from 10:40 to almost 6 o'clock in the evening. Now, at the end of the day, when the result for the CT scan came up, they said she needed to do brain surgery because she had blood in her brain. So he called the ambulance. He asked Cali for the ambulance. The ambulance was not working. We researched it. We saw one on 9th Street. We called the one on 9th Street. The one on 9th Street was also not working. And then we found one in Nizo. So that one responded, but it took about 45 minutes to reach us. So when the ambulance finally got to us, they loaded her into the ambulance, and then we rushed to JFK. At JFK, we spent about 35 to 40 minutes in the ambulance because number one, they said there was no bed. And the doctor was not at the hospital by then. So, and he was called. So we waited. And while we were waiting, he also volunteered to buy a bed if there was a need to buy the bed. So the doctor came, saw her, we gave him the report from Cali, and then he asked us, okay, bring her in. So we took her in, they found a bed for her, we took her in the trauma unit. She stayed there, we reviewed her registration, and finally he said, then to move her upstairs. So we took her upstairs to the theater. And they asked for some medicine. He spent like $250 US that night. They didn't have the medicine there, so we had to buy the medicine from across the road. Luckily, Mr. Jackson had the the pharmacy number. So he called them, and they brought the medicine that they needed. So he paid them the $250, and they went to work. The daughter didn't come back outside until around 10. And he said they were done with the work and that she was okay, even though she was in coma and she was going to recover. In fact, they saw some old blood in her head.
Some old blood?
Yes, to show that she may have fallen before. And he told her, he spoke to Mr. Jackson and I, and he explained, he said, look, right now she's in coma, but her brain has gone back into the situation that had her in coma, that caused her the problem, so she's going to be okay. And he said the first 72 hours can be very critical for her. So we should just be prayerful. So we stayed there, and then by 11:30, 11:45, we left. And I remember Mr. Jackson called on Spoon FM to thank those who supported him in that process, who were there for her, during the emergency period. And he explained what the doctor said on Spoon that night. And then we went home. He called me around 5 in the morning and told me, look, I'm calling the nice, because there was a nice on duty. I'm calling the nice, but she's not answering her phone. He said, I spoke to her earlier around 2, but now I'm calling her, she's not answering. I said, well, if she's not answering, they're not calling you, it means everything should be okay. So let them panic. And he said, okay. So around 7, I saw a call from him. Then around 7:30, I saw a call from him. I missed the call. Then I saw a message from him that Tony had passed. But he was on his way to the hospital. So Mr. Jackson went to the hospital. Instead of meeting Tony on the bed, he met Tony in the mortuary. The hospital didn't wait for him to get out of the hospital. He met her in the mortuary. She was not on the bed, the hospital bed anymore. Now she was in the mortuary. So he went in there, said he found her goodbye, and then he called the South African embassy, called some of her friends, and we all gathered there. And that's when the whole situation started. So while we are at JFK, he had some business to take care of. He said, look, I need to run after this money because now we have to think about shipping Tony Body back to South Africa. We have to go to South Africa. So I need some money. So let me go to the bank and see. And then we left, went home. But then at home, families and friends sympathizers wouldn't give him a chance to settle. So I told him, look, let's leave this place. Let's go Cinco, let's go to Royal Hotel. We said that we'll do the paperwork and we got going. Then we came to Royal Hotel, we did the paperwork, spent 30, 45 minutes, and then we left, went to the bank. Then he gave me the money to go and pay the hospital bill. He gave me the hospital bill, so the bill was like $760. So I went to JFK, paid the bill. I called Simonsi to pick up the body. Then, for me to get a clearance from the hospital, I was told somebody to see you, so I walked outside and I met some police guys. They said, we had a complaint from some South African here, they are a family member. I said, no, she does not have a family here. The only people who had legitimate, who could come here would be the South African embassy. And they said, okay, yeah, but people are here, so we need to go and see them. So, okay. So I walked to the mortuary, met with them. And we met them at the mortuary, and they explained, I met the coroner and I met some of the police officers that they were there because they got complained that her death was unusual. So they had to do a physical examination of the body. And I said, okay, Mr. Jackson will have no problem with that. I got his approval. And then we went in. The first disappointment was the pictures of her body that was displayed on social media. Those pictures were taken by the police.
You mean the police took those pictures?
Police took those pictures because we were all in there. It was only the police who had a camera and they took the pictures. They took the pictures and we left. They gave me the clearance to move the body. So I took that clearance to the hospital gave me the final clearance, and then Simonsi picked up the body and left. Then at Mr. Jackson's house, again, you know the whole story of what happened at his house. To make long story short, Saturday morning, Mr. Jackson decided to go to answer the police call based on the earlier arrangement to go at the police headquarters. So we went at the police headquarters. While at the police headquarters, he was interrogated from 11 in the morning to like 8 in the night. And we went back and forth at the house. I mean, that's you covered out, you covered the entire scenario. And then around 9, all the senior police officers were nowhere to be found. So we're like, are we going home? I mean, is he going home? And finally, when nobody could answer, he took his phone and called the police RG. And RG said that he was not going to go home, he was going to sleep there. At that point, Mr. Jackson was a person of interest, right? So the lawyer questioned that, but RG being RG said he was not going to go home. So we said, okay. So we left him there. To our disappointment, RG came outside and now said Mr. Jackson was no person of suspect and person of interest, but now he was now a suspect with nothing to establish any cause of death or linking him to any cause of death. He said, you're now a person of suspect. I mean, he was a suspect. So we said, okay. And he stayed 72 hours at the police headquarters. At the end of 72 hours, he got released to his lawyers. So for the last 3 weeks, he has cooperated with the police, gone back and forth whenever he was needed. And then last night we got a call that he was near the police headquarters this morning at 11 o'clock. We saw at 11. We got no attention until 4. Until 4 o'clock when we saw the police RG's press conference. After the press conference, it took another 30 minutes before a charge sheet was brought to him that he was being charged. And the lawyer took that. And then he said, we're going to go to court. Again, we waited to go to court. It took another hour plus. And then we had an indictment. He was supposed to appear before a judge. Instead of going to a judge, he was now taken to the prison.
Just listening to everything that transpired here, one of the areas that caught the attention of a lot of people was the presence of Mr. Jackson at the Royal Hotel hours after the incident. You just mentioned that he has a business to attend to, and that's why he was at the Royal Hotel.
Yes, I encouraged him to come at Royal Hotel to do the paperwork that he needed to do, because at home, family, friends, sympathizers could not give him the chance to complete the document he's supposed to prepare for his client. So I said, look, why is true we need people to come here, we need money. Let's get out of here. Let's go to a safe spot where you can have all the time to do this. And that's how we went to Royal Hotel. And we spent like maybe 30 to 40 minutes. And the only thing we had there was just water.
Now, but with the situation now, what's the position of the family? What are you looking forward to hereafter?
So, putting sentiments aside, we know that he'll be adjudged not guilty. We know that Mr. Jackson did not kill Tony. We know how much he loved her. We know how much they loved each other. To be honest with you, we know that Mr. Jackson would not harm a fly. I mean, yes, Mr. Jackson may be a loud talker, he may be a boastful person, but being violent is not one of his nature. Mr. Jackson would not harm anybody. He did not do anything to Tony. They did not have a fight. They did not have any misunderstanding. They had no reason. They had absolutely no reason to fight. They were happy. They were happy that evening. They spent the entire night together. They went to bed, and he left her sleeping. Mr. Jackson will harm no one. He has no record of violence. Yes, he's an advocate. Yes, he's a politician. Yes, he's a loud talker. But he is not a violent person.
So, today is Thursday. He's been taken at the Monrovia Central Prison. He's going to be spending the night there. What has the legal team said with regards to how they intend to proceed with this next?
Well, legally, we are prepared to go through this trial. I mean, it's unfortunate that we have to be going through this for somebody that he truly loved and who desired to give a befitting burial to. It's not a situation that pleases any of us to talk about, right? But now we are in a legal battle. So the legal team is going to pick it up from tomorrow. They're going to be there at the court, hoping that he will be brought to the court tomorrow. And we will find necessary bond to get him released on bond for the trial.
What is the family's position? Is the family still contemplating on having an independent autopsy conducted?
Oh, definitely. We are with the report from the government on the autopsy that was done. Again, we listened to the RG. He said they didn't need our presence. The police and the president did not need our presence in anything. They would then they go to the court by themselves. Then they go to places they went before us. So part of the investigation, the autopsy is part of the investigation. The police RG told our lawyers at 11 p.m. on Sunday, the 14th, no, the 15th, because on the 15th. Sunday at 11 p.m., he told our lawyer that we let it be as in Moses for an autopsy at 11 a.m. We pleaded that, look, give us a day two, so that we can have the representative person be there to witness the process. And they refused. And they refused, and they went ahead and did that also. We too have influence from that also. We, of course, we know that it's not let him. We know that. People who participate in the process have informed us of the outcome of the autopsy. We go for that. And again, and the result, all start working with each other. And again, we are going to have a separate check opinion on that. We are prepared to bring in another pathologist to do another autopsy.
Is your pathologist still in the country or not?
Right. Amendment that is not in the current law from 1972.
And what is it?
That the government will have, my proposal was that the government will have 15 years to do investigation and prosecution from the time the information came out that you committed the crime. Now when you actually committed the crime. So for instance, I'm 30 years old, I'm senator, I abused my office, and I managed to get away with some sum of money, the people money. I suppressed the information. My tenure ended. I go on with the money. I benefited from it. And I turned 60 years, even as a former senator. When I turned 60 years old, and that information comes out at the age of 60, that means that 30 years ago, right? The day the information comes out, and the evidence is available to prosecute me, that 15 years period opens from that time. So what we call it in the law, we call it from the date of discovery. Now when the crime was committed. So I committed the crime, for instance, at the age of 30. They discovered it when I was 60 years old. From the date they discovered that I committed that crime when I was 30 years old, the government has 15 years window. But we debated the issue in the Senate, and the Senate generally agreed that while my bill made sense, 15 years, too long too, because government has all the resources and time, and to gather evidence and all that stuff. So instead of 15 years, it would make sense to make it 10 years. Then there was a new argument, so it was extended by 2 years. Meaning government has 7 years from the day, the time
the information
leaked out and the evidence is available. That bill, that law, we have engrossed it to the House of Representatives, and we hope the Senate is looking to the House for concurrence.
So how does that contrast with the status of limitation that we have now?
So the current statute of limitation allows for 5 years.
Right.
And this is going to be 7 years.
And this is going to be 7 years plus because when the crime was committed would not matter in the amendment.
But when
it was discovered,
yeah.
When it was discovered, the current law does not have when it was discovered.
Right.
The current law is blank on it.
So quickly, what are you doing with your colleagues in the lower house to sort of turn that into an act?
Yeah, it makes sense to a lot of lawmakers in the lower house, and we look forward to a regular second quarter in May. We will be looking to the House, and we'll be making effort for the House to concur. We also did the Ivanhoe. We also did the Ivanhoe concession. We also did Aslamita concession.
And Ivanhoe, how much is that?
Ivanhoe is about 1.8 billion concession. Ivanhoe is not an iron ore mining company. Ivanhoe is more like a logistic company. Ivanhoe is contracted by a company mining ore in Guinea to transport their ore from Guinea to Liberia through the port of Buchanan. So Ivanhoe is not in competition for iron ore mining and other stuff, mineral in Liberia. It's just conveying mineral or iron ore from Guinea
from one point to
another. And then we will also that concession will help to expand our rail system. Many countries around the world, people using air, land, sea, land including rail. After Ivanhoe contract is over, the extended rail
becomes a national asset.
It becomes a national asset. It can be used for commercial transportation as well.
Right.
And other stuff.
Now,
and it will create jobs.
Right.
Job opportunities.
There I was going. Right?
Yeah.
I know it may not be in your purview.
Right.
The executive probably works on that part.
Right.
When does it become tangibly jobs? People want to hear that. People are excited about this whole job situation. As far as you know, how is it related to providing jobs soon?
As soon as the contract takes hold. In fact, from the day the president approved the ratification action of the legislature, that concession agreement starts to become binding. There's recruitment because they will do I think 23 kilometers of road from the border of Guinea where the iron ore is coming from Guinea.
Right.
Because where the iron ore is in part of Guinea, they will ship it by road for 2-3 years while they're doing the rail, what we call train track.
Right.
So from Nima bordering Guinea, the point to bring it to where the train track is in Yekepa, the car road they will use by truck. They will pave that road. In the pavement of the road, that job creation right there. There will be contracts, there will be contractors to do the road.
And that will ease movement also.
They will ease movement. Then during the construction of the rail, of the train track, it's also job creation. And then they will be renting trucks and all that stuff. It's also job creation. The only thing, and without anybody thinking, is political. When we pass these concession agreements, we know that these concession agreements will create jobs.
And that was bringing me to my question. As much as there's a buzz, we hearing about job creation and what have you, but the creation of the job comes with the requirement of specific skills
Yes.
to ensure the effectuation of the operations of these concessionaires.
Correct.
And you're talking about the operation of locomotives and what have you. What is the government thinking about providing skills and providing the necessary skill set to young Liberians, so that they take charge of the operations of those machines?
So you, under this administration, part of the arrest agenda, under the rescue mission, we have deliberately, under the leadership of President Joseph Nima Boakai, we have decided to make technical vocational education a thing of relevance, because these kind of skills build country, not politics. So we have, President has concurred with the House of Representatives on establishing the TVET Commission. We have established a whole TVET Commission. I understand that it is not yet verified, but I understand the President vetoed the bill, the law, because he has some concerns that which we may address one over time. But it is within the vision of the arrest agenda to do technical and vocational skills and education career as something more relevant, and so that people can be, so the job market can absorb them. And meanwhile, if you follow the current Minister of Youth and Sports, I think at the MVTC, they've taken some actions to reduce some cost burden requirements on students
to promote
or
retention.
to promote encourage more people into technical and vocational career, so that they can be able to be absorbed in the job market, especially in the concession areas.
Well, good. So to wrap up from the Senate's end, I know it's lengthy discussion, but the seaport decentralization act,
Right.
Did this be filled in that?
No. So, in fact, just before we closed last week, the Senate again passed the seaport bill.
But why are you going back and forth with it, by the way?
So the question is, I mean, people see you as the forerunner or one of the forerunners of this port decentralization bill. But the argument is, I mean, decentralization generally is viewed as a way of promoting devolution of power. But one would argue, what is the economic benefit to the country when you decentralize the port?
Decentralization is good. It can even decongest, especially Montserrat County.
No.
The port bill is good for the country. These ports have been operating like the way they are for the last 50, 60 years. The thing about us in Liberia generally, every good idea or every vision is good to all Liberians. The problem we always have is they think good but not timely. That is why we never reach that time. We never take the risk. We never want to start what is good, but deemed not to be timely. It is only timely when you started from somewhere.
And you think now is the time?
Of course. In fact, there's not a better time than now. The port bill was politicized, understandably, but the visionaries of the bill did not lose focus, because it is part of the agenda of decentralization. We just abolished, under the vision of this government led by President Boakai and the Senate led by Young Bikanga Lawrence and with all of us there, we just abolished the Ministry of Internal Affairs.
Right.
And established the Ministry of Local Government so it can conform to the Local Government Act, which talks about decentralization of power, and so that development can reach the people from where they are. The port bill is to empower and develop the various ports in the country and future ports. It also talks about future inland port. inland people understand the inland port, the dry port where there's no sea,
Mm.
right? Yeah, and they have it in other countries. It's visionary. The port of Harper should not report to the port of Buchanan. The port of Buchanan should not report to the port of Greenville or Monrovia. They can simply coordinate. The port of Monrovia should not control all of the ports across the country with centralized power in Monrovia. If the port of Harper wants a controller, the port of Harper should be able to recruit a controller from Maryland. Not necessarily a Marylander, but even if it is a Marylander who is qualified, if the port of Greenville wants needs a manager, the president of Liberia can appoint a citizen of that country or a resident of that country knowledgeable in port management.
And this is why some people are saying this is the slippery point of this whole argument, that this is a unitary state, not a federal state, but they view some of the projection of this whole put out as being, bearing the complexion of federal nature. Because if you highlighting the need of the recruitment entirely of a manager for the county rather than providing opportunity for Liberians across the country, people will say it's more about protecting a particular interest rather than the general national interest.
So you can also recruit Romeo Togba to go to head the port of Maryland, even though you are not from Maryland. But what it would do, it would take Romeo Togba from Monrovia. It would decongest Monrovia. You can take, in fact, it's also integration. Look, development of those counties, everywhere around the world where you have port city, the port alone is an asset for development in those counties. If the ports start to gain their own autonomy, and it's not federal form of stuff, because you have of the ports, but each of the port will have its own management, and now reporting to one port reporting to another port. One port should not be reporting to another port. All of the ports should be under one authority, one regulatory authority, and not one centralized authority from one county.
So you have a referee, and they all are players.
Exactly.
So where are we with it? What can we expect?
So the Senate passed it. The House will hopefully concur when we return, and I can bet not on arrogance, but on knowledge of what I know, that the president will approve it. I say so because when the president has vetoed the port bill once.
Okay.
But propagandists against the bill, some don't even know the intent and purpose and benefit
of the veto.
No, not only that, of the decentralization. People who are anti gave bad publicity to good intent and good motive and good action.
And what have you done to offset the bad publicity?
Don't listen to it. The visionaries of the bill will not listen to bad publicity. We have a duty to inform and clarify. The president vetoed the bill once. People made the public believe that the president vetoed the bill twice. Okay, the president vetoed the bill once. But what did the president say in his veto communication? The president said, I'm returning this bill because I have concerns on these areas in the bill. I'm asking the legislature to reconsider my concerns and send it back for my approval, because this idea, this decentralization idea and vision is within my vision for decentralization, is within my vision, my agenda for decentralization. It is contained expressly, black and white, in the president's letter. But the propagandists against the bill did not want the public to see or know about that. What they did was they only took the last page of a 5-page document, letter, with the president's signature on it. Because when you outline all the things you have concern about, they close the last paragraph or closing sentence and say, having said that, or wherefore in view of the foregoing. Yeah. So they took that last page where the president said, I am vetoing, and I need to do a bit of education here. Not for you, but for some of us who don't understand politics. The president can veto a whole bill.
Right.
Or the president can veto lines in the bill.
Does he have to state reason for doing
Yes. Once the president vetoes it, either the whole bill or part portion of the bill, the president is under obligation to state why.
Okay.
Because no president can yet get up and say, I vetoed the bill. It's not sufficient. It doesn't hold legally. So the president letter said, you'll reconsider these few sessions. What were some of the sessions? One, the board of the regulatory bodies, they are too large. You reduce the number, right? The title of the bill is conflicting, is suggesting two things. You correct it. And another count. Any person with common sense will not conclude that the president won the law entirely. The president said, y'all look at this. If you reduce the number of persons that's ought to be on each of the board, the title of the law, so it can fit properly, and you send it back to me. And two, there are some authorities that will be assigned in the law. They are already assigned to like maritime and other entities. So it can conflict. You reconsider, these things. So we did that. We did the reconsideration.
Right.
And there's one or two that we adjusted, and we gave reason for the adjustment.
And this time you are sure.
And this time we are very certain that the president will approve.
Now you're listening to Liberia in the Morning on Radio Visual 98.1 FM, and the last segment of this program today is today's conversation. And coincidentally, the board chair of the radio station is there. That's when you saw him talk about Signal and the coverage and what county. He has a lot of information as far as the operation of the radio station is concerned.
He's a board member with his feet on the ground.
Chair of the board, as a matter of
Chair of the board. So, Mr. Senator,
and we also did the people fought contract to construct roads in the Western Cluster.
From Brownsville to Bowater.
Exactly.
And when does that kick off?
It should kick off very soon.
People on our side, will be eager to know the time.
And the thing about the legislature, one day, I'm planning with you and Josh and the station so that we can have a conversation in the afternoon. Not got you question, but the everyday common sense things, since civics is not yet in school, so we can help. The thing about the legislature is, and it is almost like that everywhere. I was watching CNN last night, and I saw that the approval rating of Congress is as low as 30%. But America is at war, but Congress going to break too. When we were going to break, the people who always comparing all to America, they said, "Why we having issue at the Guinea border?" And we're going to break. And you understand? Now I'm not trying to make any equivalent poor equivalent comparison here. The legislature in Liberia has a very poor rating by perception and by pure lack of understanding. So
what is responsible?
Ourselves. Thankfully, the legislature is open. Maybe it's not as open as we wanted. The light I put on in there, even though some people say a dim or a shining light or that sort, the country at least has interest in knowing what's happening in there. Say, for instance, what I want to say here is, if the legislature pass the budget or agree to approve payment for yellow machine, the executive cannot have yellow machine, right?
Yes, correct.
So we pass budget, we agree on payment for the yellow machine. The yellow machine comes, the whole country praising the executive. They don't see that the legislature play their role to approve payment.
So they celebrate the end product.
So that, yeah, yeah.
Well, maybe because you're a policy making body and you're not into action as you will be executing.
So
Who knows?
the legislature will pass law to tighten the fight against drug. The legislature has passed law. Everybody know the role of the legislature is lawmaking. We not made a law. To enforce that law, if the executive is not enforcing or implementing the law, they being the lawmakers. You understand? All I'm saying, the legislature has bad publicity by perception, because some people don't understand actually the role of the legislature. And also, I say all, and also we as a legislative body, we're not very strong and robust on our side. And
that's a perennial problem.
yeah, so even if you want to hold a cabinet minister accountable, you can sack him as a lawmaker. Or even if we took a vote, that does not sack that minister. But if the minister is performing poorly, the public blames the legislature and not the president for not sacking that person.
Right.
You understand? Yeah, go ahead.
So
I want
now,
to do something.
we really actually need to transition to other issues.
Yeah, so
No, we can extend the time. I had a boat here. I'll pay for the airtime. When I go places and I extend the time, I can pay for the airtime.
Okay.
It's only fair enough, even if I'm using our own airtime.
Right.
Once we extend the time,
Right.
we'll pay for the airtime.
I think it's something to go by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Senator, bringing you back to your quest to improve on the statute of limitation from 5 years to 7 years, big news, and is hopefully seen as a catalyst in the fight against waste, fraud, and abuse of state resources and what have you.
Right.
But as you do this, what is your current impression of the fight against corruption, especially being led by the institution charged with nipping corruption in the bud, the LCC?
Look, under the circumstances, I think the LCC is 80%.
You gave them 80.
Yeah. And the 20%.
Emerited 80.
Yes. And I speak from the background, not from sentiment, not from quote unquote partisan mandate or feelings. I speak from informed background. I was at Justice Ministry for 11 years. 9 out of those 11 years, I was special assistant to the Solicitor General of Liberia. The Solicitor General of Liberia and the office of the Solicitor General is more like the law firm of the government. We prosecuted treason, we prosecuted murder, we prosecuted economic sabotage, we prosecuted theft of property, we prosecuted simple aggravated assault, we prosecuted all levels and degrees of crimes. What I learned from my time at the Ministry of Justice in the prosecutorial arm of the government was that feelings and sentiments don't win cases. You don't go to the court and say, I feel that a man did anything. No, feelings and sentiment or partisan mandate don't win cases. It is good evidence proven beyond reason.
And you think the LSCC has that?
The LSCC has to be meticulous
Okay.
before it indicts somebody. not because the LSCC feels that this person did something. The LSCC must be able to prove that this person did something. The 20% that I did not give the LSCC is because it is my view that they can take too long on some cases, investigating some cases. I also understand from my experience that some investigations can take time. A part of the 20% that I did not give the LSCC is that after your investigation, even if it took 1 month, as speedy as 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, once you know that your investigation proved that this person did not do what they were alleged of doing, clear the person. Because when you accuse the person, it was public. When your investigation show proof that the person is not involved, don't hold the clearance. Don't be afraid of public backlash for doing the right thing.
And I think it's integrity enough.
It's integrity enough to say, I accuse this person, I investigated the person, the allegation against the person is not true, we're clearing them. Because somebody in the future and the character is involved here. And at this point in time, it should not be about feelings toward who. Criminal prosecution does not matter who you like or dislike. Criminal prosecution, a successful criminal prosecution, is based on good evidence, proven beyond reasonable doubt. Look, if a dead body is found in my yard this morning, I'm the first suspect. As far as my yard is, the general perception, the wild perception would be that Dylan Nueboye or Dylan killed. But then you found out that last night I slept in Bon County. Now you see I have an alibi. I slept in Bon County. Just by my sleeping in Bon County, or I said that I slept in Bon County is not sufficient. Where did I sleep? Who saw me? In Bon County. When did the person die or was killed? In my yard. When did somebody see me in Bon County? And just because I was in Bon County too, does not suggest that I know about it, by facilitating and using my being Bon County as the alibi. So then criminal investigation will have to go beyond, because the body is found in my yard, but I'm in Bon County. So it's not possible for myself to have committed the act. But maybe I facilitated it, maybe I sponsored it, and I went to Bon County to remove myself as an alibi. The criminal investigators will have to go beyond. Oh, Dylan was not in Monterey last night, he was not in last night when a person died or was killed in a yard, so that Dylan is not involved. It's not sufficient. The criminal investigation must go beyond now to investigate further. How did the person enter Dylan's yard? How did it die? Who did it? Then when you get the who did it, then you go beyond asking, extracting out of that person in a reasonable way, whether that murder or that death was sponsored and by whom. Once you clear all of those down, even though the body was found in Dylan yard, Dylan know about it, but Paul in Liberia, nobody, some people already, you guilty already. So if the police does that kind of criminal deep investigation and still prove that Dylan was not in Monrovia, Dylan investigation proved that Dylan did not sponsor it. Dylan know anything about it. Yeah, witnesses to prove that Dylan, or say for instance, I slept in a hotel. The hotel, manifest can prove that I slept there. I took breakfast there. All that kind of thing. The investigation will clear me. But the public who have already judged me guilty will not believe or respect the outcome of that investigation. But just because public will not respect the outcome of that investigation does not mean you must not state it as the investigative body to say, we've done XYZ, we've proven XYZ, and Dylan is innocent. You understand? So my 20% that I took from the LSCC is the delay in clearing people, and also the delay in taking people to court. Because prosecution is not only about convicting people. You see, justice is about affording due process so that I will accuse you. I can have my day in court to present my evidence to prove that you're guilty, and you too can have your day in court to prove that you are not guilty. But because you got to present your witnesses, you got to testify in your own defense, and that kind of hearing, consistent with law, the ruling, the judgment therefrom could say Romeo is not guilty. That's justice. But in Liberia, prosecution means one that person is not guilty. Then something wrong with the prosecution. And that's why I said feelings can win criminal cases. Sentiment towards somebody or something don't win criminal cases.
Feelings, sentiment,
and want to include party mandate to go after somebody does not win criminal cases. It is evidence, good evidence proven beyond reasonable doubt.
So you were listening
can
to
win case, criminal cases.
1 FM Radio Bushel, and this is Liberia in the Morning. As a matter of fact, we are